Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Tonight we will be talking about an important topic that affects many households as well as many healthcare settings, and that is oxygen safety. So, oxygen safety in the home. We do not want to be using oxygen around any fire or any environment where there's a potential for sparks. We want to be cautious when using electrical equipment such as a radio or electrical razors when oxygen is in use. Both of these items have a potential to cause sparks if they malfunction. With children that are receiving oxygen, do not allow them to play with electric or friction toys because this can also lead to sparks. And we want to ensure to put an oxygen in use sign on the door to notify visitors and others that there is oxygen being used in the home. We want to educate the patient and the family to not smoke while using oxygen. Do not use air fresheners or hairsprays near the oxygen unit. Use water-based products instead of using products like vapor rub, petroleum jelly, or oil-based lotions. Be careful not to trip over the excess tubing. Consider using 100% cotton bedding. This is less staticky. We want to avoid wool and other synthetic fabrics because they are more staticky. And again, we want to add the no smoking sign and no open flames, as we can see on the screen. In this image, we can see just a visualization of what we want to avoid near our oxygen delivering system. Again, that open flame, no smoking, or no electrical devices that can cause a spark. We want to avoid those oil-based products that we see on the screen and instead use water-based products, or aloe vera is a good substitute. In this image, we can see that we want to keep our oxygen delivering device at least 6 feet away from open flames to prevent any incident from occurring. And when storing our oxygen, we want to ensure that it is standing upright and secured to prevent it from falling and cracking or breaking off the valves, which can be dangerous. When traveling with a car, same rules. We want to ensure that our oxygen delivering system is secure, so we can use a seatbelt to ensure that it's in place. Never leave oxygen in a hot car or store it in the trunk. Keep a window open slightly while traveling to allow some ventilation. And do not smoke or ride with anyone who smokes. So again, how do we store oxygen at home? Making sure that it is upright and secure to prevent it from falling. The oxygen therapy system should be in an area that is well ventilated, free of clutter, and kept away from any flames or heat sources. Do not store it in the trunk or in the closet. And do not set down your nasal cannula or mask on the bed, on the chair, or on the couch, or anywhere where there's synthetic fabric, because this can lead to these items being saturated with oxygen, making them highly flammable. And we also want to be prepared. Ensure that your home has operational smoke detectors. Notify the fire department that you'll be using oxygen at home. Have a fire extinguisher at home ready to use and also be educated on how to use it. Notify the utility companies that you are using oxygen. In case the lights go out, then you are on the priority service listing. And have the oxygen supplier number handy just in case. And that is all for me. And we'll be back after this short ad.
I'm Joe,
Joseph,
and Joey,
attorneys at law.
Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do. Each year, thousands of incidents occur due to the misuse of oxygen in home and hospitals, including an estimated 1,200 injuries due to home oxygen fires alone in the United States. Have you or a loved one been injured due to improper use of home or hospital oxygen? You may be entitled to financial compensation. Examples may include oxygen toxicity. Prolonged use of high concentration oxygen can lead to chest pain, difficulty breathing, or even seizures. Or were you given a leaky tank that caused an explosion? All home oxygen tanks need to be inspected before giving away for proper use. Or maybe you even tripped on home oxygen tubing that was left unsecured in the home or hospital. I'll fight for you. If you think you've been in an accident, call JJJ and Associates, and we'll get you the help you need.
Hello everyone, Stephanie coming to you live from the first ever adult pool basketball championship. Oh, wait, what's that? We do have a request from the producers to run a special report instead. Sorry everyone, out of the pool. What are you doing in the pool anyways? It's November. It's the heart of the football season. Back to the studio. Oxygen therapy has long been used in the NFL for recovery, but are they using it effectively?
Where's the oxygen at?
For oxygen therapy to be effective, it's very important that all devices are used correctly and that provider orders are followed closely. In this special report, we'll be going over different types of oxygen delivery devices, how to put on a nasal cannula, and how to set up an oxygen tank for home use. Because it's not just pro athletes that should be using these correctly, but everyone, from patients in the hospital to family members and even yourself. So first up we have the nasal cannula. So for this you're just going to want to make sure the prongs are facing up so that the air can flow into the nose, and then gently place the tubing around your patient or family member's ears, and then you're just going to want to tighten but not too tight underneath the neck, and make sure that the tubing is under the neck and not behind the head for proper placement. And here's just some other types of masks that may be ordered, but one thing to note is that unlike a mannequin, most humans will have ears, so you're going to want to just be checking around the ears and nose anywhere where there's possible risk for breakdown or injury frequently, just to make sure that there's no injuries from the tubing. All right, so here we have our tanks for home use, and this is the regulator piece. You'll just want to fit that onto the top there. Okay, so looking at more closely to this piece, it does have two prongs that will fit into the two holes on the tank. Now you want to make sure those are lined up so that the tank is set up correctly. And then you're just going to slide the regulator piece onto the top of the tank. And once that's on and secure, you're going to want to turn the little lever clockwise until it's tight. Okay, so you're going to want to just take your little key piece here, place it on top. You're going to turn that counterclockwise towards you, and that will turn on your tank. And then you just want to take note of your dial there that shows that your tank is full. So next up, you want to attach your tubing to the bottom, making sure that it's nice and secure. And then finally, you just want to turn the dial to the prescribed liters that the provider has ordered, and your oxygen tank is ready to go. Thank you for watching this special report, and now a word from our sponsors.
Puff Palace Oxygen Emporium is closing its doors for good. Get home oxygen equipment at amazing prices. We've got nasal cannulas that are 50% off for those looking for a low flow, so if you have anything like mild hypoxia, we've got you covered. Next, we have non-rebreather masks at 50% off. That's for those looking for a real wild time. They can get nearly 100% of oxygen using a beautiful reservoir bag. These should be used for patients with shock, carbon monoxide poisoning, or acute respiratory failure. Hi, I'm Ronald Puff, CEO of Puff Palace Oxygen Emporium. When I inherited this business 10 years ago, my father could have never dreamed of the amount of inventory that we need to get rid of. For those having an acute exacerbation of a chronic respiratory condition like asthma or pneumonia, we've got simple face masks up to 70% off. The rate at which I've driven this company into the ground is embarrassing. Come on down to Puff Palace Oxygen Emporium, where you can meet all your oxygen needs. And due to my crippling divorce, we're trying to sell as many as we can. We're basically giving them away. And we got some of the best stuff in town. If you don't believe us, here's some of our satisfied customers. So come on down to Puff Palace Emporium, where you'll probably see me sleeping in my car in the parking lot. Puff Palace Emporium. When the flow is good, so is the air. Breathing easy with comfort to spare. That's right. Behind me, there's what looks to be a giant structural fire at Centennial Mountain Henderson Valley Hospital. I have reports that what happened is this man decided to light a cigarette in his room while there's still being high flow oxygen on. It's important to remember the safeties of oxygen in a hospital setting. It seems like aside from the cigarette being lit, I'm getting reports that a member of the staff at the hospital stored their cylinders of oxygen on their sides. Sorry, it's very windy right now, Steve. It's important to remember that oxygen should always be stored upright. I'm getting another report that 2 patients on the psychiatric floor turned on all the oxygen trees, despite there being no tubing connected to them. It's highly important to remember that oxygen regulators and flow meters are used appropriately, and that oxygen sources are always off when in use. There is still no word from hospital CEO Angelico Miranda, addressing the rumors that there was no fire hazards put into place and that the hospital was not up to code on their fire extinguishers. Whenever dealing with hospital oxygen, you always need to have fire extinguishers in place and for exits to be shown to patients and available. The wind is increasing, so I will stay here and attempt to get the inside scoop. The studio has provided you with some notes on managing oxygen in a hospital setting. Back to you in the studio, Steve.